Hey guys, it's been a while. I don't even know where I left off. I don't even remember what time or what month or even what day for that matter. But I've been pretty busy with life in general, like most of us modelers. And it's been pretty insane. I'll sum it up like this. Went on vacation for a couple weeks, took a break from everything. Once I came back, I started doing a lot of work. Some of you guys, that watch these videos, I've made in passing that I'm a welder. And since I got back from vacation, I've been welding nonstop, going out in the field, fixing things, cutting, you name it, I did it. And the job I'm working on, where I work at, it's a pretty big job, and it's like I must have cranked out about 70,000 pounds of steel. Not just me, but a couple of other guys at the shop. And now we're starting to get into the last half of it. Like I said, work takes up a lot of my time. That's the way it goes. So in between, I was trying to get back into building after working on the P47 kit, which I finished up. Unfortunately, because my camera giving me trouble, not so much the video part, but the microphone part. What happened was the microphone decided to go out on me, so I had to go over to. I found that out through a fellow modeler who watches my videos. Told me that the sound isn't right. And I operate through an iPod camera or an iPhone camera. I got a new camera, by the way. We'll get into that a little bit. Well, for those of you guys who own an iPod or an iPhone, when something goes out, you try to do the normal routine. You figure this out, that out, that out. No, I tried everything, so I got to go to the Apple Store to get the iPod fixed. I can still hear music. I can still hear things. It just doesn't record audio. Nothing I can do about it. It also provides a real hassle in video chat that I occasionally do with fellow modelers. But I got a new camera now. Same thing, except it's on an iPhone, not an iPod. So I'm now doing that. Anyway, back to the. And when I wasn't doing any of those in between, I was spending a lot of time with my son, and we were, holidays were upon us. You can see all the, well, not so much that, but I got a lot of Christmas stuff in the background, mostly because my wife does a lot of baking, cooking, whole 9 yards, and that's the biggest reason why I'm in the kitchen right now. Right now, my son's taking a nap, and I don't feel comfortable doing a video in the basement while he's napping. I don't feel comfortable with that. I'd rather stay close range, within earshot, so in case he does wake up, I can be right there for him. Well, that's the way it should be. Welcome to parenthood. However, so after vacation and work and time with my son and holidays, I finally started to get back into things. However, there are a couple new items that I got on my shelf of doom, or my stash. I got a couple of kits, and which I'll show in a little bit. But before that, I'm going to explain with the whole modeling thing. After I finished up the P47 kit from Tamaya, I don't even remember where I last left off on that. Well, I know it's done. It's a nice kit. Maybe in the future, if I can recollect my memories just right, I'll discuss it a little more. I did try to start building more aircraft again. I was working on a Hasegawa Skyhawk. I did make some progress, but I could tell I was starting to get burnt out from aircraft. So, whatever I got done, I put it back in a box. I shelved it for now, because I'll end up getting back to it once I get my aircraft mojo back. And I was in a little bit of a rut for a while. So, I switched to armor. And armor is a different beast as compared to modeling aircraft. Well, at least from my experiences. So I started working on that. I had a Academy M60A1 kit, which was the Israeli Defense Force version that was sitting on my shelf, and I looked at it, which revived an old idea I had in my head a few years ago. A little bit of history behind the M60 in Israeli service. Israel had all stocks of M60, M60A1. They never bought the A2. Matter of fact, that was never exported outside of the United States. Then you had the A3. Now, Israel got between 3 to 500, I think 3 to 500 M60A3s. And in Israeli service with the Israeli Defense Force, the M60 was known as Magach. Don't know how the name came from. Nobody really knows what it translates to in Hebrew. It could be a variety of things. But it served very well with the Israeli Defense Force, and it held its own. particularly in the Yom Kippur War and 1982 Peace for Galilee, which was up against Hezbollah and the rest when they had to go in Lebanon. And and there was a lot of things they updated to the tank, so which I'll explain in a future video because I really don't want to get into it. But I started working on the kit. It's a slow going thing. Like I said, the holidays are running, so whatever time I did have, I ended up mostly assembling and painting. Well, not painting, priming. And here's the result I got so far. The idea I had, because the M60 was known as the Magat 6 in Israeli Defense Force Service. So you had the 6, 6A, the 6B, and the 6C. The 6C was nicknamed the Gimbal. Don't know why. This is only what I've read from websites on the internet. But the one I'm doing right now is the M60A3 in Israeli service. Distinct differences between the A3 and the A1 are pretty simple. The barrel itself, notice there's a thermal shroud on this. The A1 doesn't have that here, nor does it have it in the back. It's just cut dry, that's it. Well, shroud. This prevents warping of the barrel, or reduces warping of the barrel. Second thing with the M60A3 is actually the crosswind sensor. This is very common on the M60A3, and it's only on that because of the technology they use, like a ballistic computer, and some of them use a tank thermal sight that is similar to an M1 Abrams. So otherwise, it doesn't have the coupler. It's got the same Erding style coupler, which was used on the M48 and the M60 and the M60A1. So it's basically the same. They actually updated all the M60 series with Macava style tracks and a gear sprocket to replace the octagonal pad tracks on the M60 series. That's what I'm doing right now. I mostly did the assembling and like the hull, the turret. I finally got the aftermarket tracks, so I decided to convert it back to the running gear back to the M60 style track setup. All it was just changing of the sprocket. Fortunately, Academy still kept the original style sprockets and stuff for the kit, so that makes life a lot easier. Although I did have to change the road wheels because this kit had the original M60 spoked aluminum style road wheels, and the M60A3, depending on your references, had either that style or they had the M48 steel wheels. I wanted to go with the M48 steel wheels, so I stole the road wheels from a Tamiya kit, USMC M60A1 with reactive armor Tamiya kit. Of course, I added the reactive armor. As you can see here, this is the Israeli style. Basically, it's blocks bolted on a few inches away. The reactive armor basically was supposed to be designed to try to defeat heat rounds, which acronym for high explosive anti-tank, which is more like hot gases funneling in, melting away the steel. What it does is heat round hits it, blows up, minimizes the damage. Doesn't fare very well against sabot rounds, but most people don't use sabot rounds in their tanks. But Israel's pretty smart with that, and the Marine Corps used it. The Army did consider it, but decided not to, especially since they had the M1 Abrams with the Clobham armor. Otherwise, the Academy kit itself, nice kit. It's an improvement of the Tamiya kit. It's still a copy, but it's a big improvement over the Tamiya kit. And it's really, really nice. I set that as my basis. And I still got to find stowage set for it and paint and so on. Like you said, I'm moving at a snail's pace, but I'm taking my time with it, which makes life a lot easier. However, once all said and done with that, who knows where I'm going from there. But I'm probably going to still go with my armor fix. I did have a couple of new armor kits that I received. I actually have two of them I have never dealt with before. One is the AFV Club kit here. This is the first AFV Club kit I have ever bought, and I've heard a lot of good things about AFV Club. This is actually the AFV Club's M60A3 kit. This is a really nice kit, very complicated, and it's the first new M60 series that came out in a long, long time. Now, before the AV Club, you had your choice. You had Tamiya, Academy, which I'm using for my Israeli M60, or the SE kit, or now boxed under a Tallery. The SC Tallery kit was probably the best out of three because it was a static display, not not intended to be motorized. Not so much the Academy kit, but the Tamiya kit definitely. And that was in the late 90s. Not late 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. That was the last all-new M60 kit that was ever released. Now, it's interesting because the M60, even though it was for a while it was the main battle tank for the United States, it was sold to other countries. Not many model companies put out the M60. And if they did, it was mostly the A1 or the A3. Tamiya did do an A2, and Academy released an A2. And so did AFV Club, but it was unusual because it was different from the A1 and the A3. The A3 was not much different from the A1, save for the crosswind sensor, the thermal sleeves on the barrel, and a couple of other parts to bring it up to speed. And like I said, those were the only three for a while. I mean, there were a few in 1/72 scale, but there really wasn't any new mold. And this is, and like I said, AV Club, and it's a radical departure from the Tamiya, the SE, or even the Academy kit. The engineering and the assembly is different, and it's also got quite a few more parts. I've heard a lot about AV. I've heard a lot of cool things about AV. Not many complaints. So, and I've heard nobody really say anything derogatory or criticize AV Club outside of a few gimmicks. So I figured, why not? Get a look at AV Club, give it a try, and I'm glad I picked it. I'm glad that, I shouldn't say picked it up. It was, for some reason, I just found it at my in-laws' doorstep. I should say. I don't know who sent it. Don't care. Didn't even get a thank you card. I didn't get a welcome card, so whoever, thank you. Another long story short. Although as a kit itself, it's really, really nice. It looks promising. It's got some photo etch. It's got other things in there. And I'm going to say this about AFV Club, how they set up the track where you can put it on the running gear. It's interesting because older 1/35 scale kits were either Lincoln length, which was separate plastic tracks, or they used vinyl track. And the only way to assemble vinyl tracks, or put them as one piece, you had to get a heated piece of metal like a screwdriver or something and flatten the pins. But you didn't want to do it too hard, because if you did, you melted it away, and then you had more trouble. Then you had to resort to staples. But that's another problem I'll explain down the road. In AV Club's case, they use little metal tabs to slide into place on the track. Problem solved. They don't go anywhere, and it keeps them in place. And like I said, AV Club, it looks interesting, it looks appealing. It's probably going to turn into a pet project, depending on how long it takes and stuff. The other one I got, this is very welcome because I'm very fond of Israeli armor, speaking of which, is TACOM. This is their Merkava Mark I. They also make a Mark I hybrid. Now, TACOM is I shouldn't say so much new. They've been around for a few years, but they didn't make a lot of noise coming into the market. They quietly slipped in the market, some new armor kits. They specialize in 135. And they've come out with stuff like they've come out with the Chieftain, they've come out with C-55, a Leopard 1, which was modified for the Canadian Army. They had a few other projects, but I never really heard much about them, although they really didn't make their announcement when they came out. They just said, oh yeah, we're just a model armor company. That was it. Quiet. But I've heard people say good things about them. I've heard some bad, depending. I know, from what I understand, some of their kits require a little bit more cleanup, like removing any excess plastic than usual. But I've heard the fit's very good, and actually pretty accurate. And this is the first Merkava 1 kit, like Mark 1. They're supposed to be coming out with a Mark 2, by the way. I hope. This is the first one that's really come out in a long, long time. Before this one, the last Merkava early Mark kit to come out, besides Academy, was Tamiya, and Tamiya came out with the Mark 1, but there wasn't much information on it. They could only go with what limited information they had, and it was a really, really nice kit. It was typical Tamiya quality, simple, easy to put together, put it on the shelf. Well, this came out 30 years later, and like I said, it's very welcome, and due to the latest in due to the latest in engineering, research, reference, and the hobby, it's far more complicated, but it's a really, really cool kit. If I get the chance, I'll actually do a couple of videos on this one and on the AFV Club kit, and I'll give you an in-depth look at the previews and stuff. But basically, that's what I've been doing lately, and I do apologize for not putting up a video in a long, long time, but I'm good to see you guys again, and I'm sure you guys are cringing because of this video, but hopefully I'll give you some more progress what I'm working on. Like I said, maybe next video I'll give you a lot of information or progress I've been making on this one. You know, this is only the turd. I didn't bring the rest of the kit up. I only brought this to give you an idea of what I'm doing. And in case why gray, it's a primer. I put the primer on. So since I use acrylics, I've mentioned this many times before in videos, so I can paint it and make it a little easier. So that's it for now. I will talk to you guys again soon. Maybe in the basement, maybe in another room. Who knows? I might be outside for all you know. Well, hopefully I'll get everything back on track. So happy modeling, take it easy, and I will see you guys again hopefully soon.